Ladies and gentlemen, in a few hours from now, India will embark on an era that can possibly change the country's economic outlook. When the clock strikes 12, GST 2.0 will officially kick in. No more of 4 tax slabs, no more of taxes on our insurance premium, no more of high taxes on purchase of cars. Referred to as a game changer by the government, the next generation GST reforms will see almost all of the products divided into 2 categories: the 5% tax slab and the 18% tax slab. And ahead of that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation today to explain why GST 2.0 can usher India into a new era. The Prime Minister said that the next gen GST will accelerate India's growth story. He also spoke of the government's mantra, which is Nagarik Devo Bhava, which basically means putting the interests of the citizens first and foremost. The Prime Minister also spoke in detail about the need to be self-reliant, Aatmanirbhar, saying we must become Aatmanirbhar to ensure a Vikasit Bharat by 2047. Continuing on his Swadeshi pitch, the Prime Minister urged all citizens to purchase as many Make-in-India items as possible.
हमारे देश के गरीब, मध्यम वर्गीय लोग, न्यू मिडिल क्लास, युवा, किसान, महिलाएं, दुकानदार, व्यापारी, उद्यमी, त्योहारों के इस मौसम में सबका मुंह मीठा होगा। जब साल 2017 में भारत ने जीएसटी रिफॉर्म की तरफ कदम बढ़ाया था, तो एक पुराना इतिहास बदलने की और एक नया इतिहास रचने की शुरुआत हुई थी। दशकों तक हमारे देश की जनता, आप सभी लोग, देश के व्यापारी अलग अलग टैक्स के जाल में उलझे हुए थे। ऑक्ट्रॉय, एंट्री टैक्स, सेल टैक्स, एक्साइज, वेट, सामान को एक शहर से दूसरे शहर पहुंचने के बीच जो खर्च बढ़ता था, वो भी गरीब को उठाना पड़ता था। आप जैसे ग्राहकों से वसूला जाता था। साथियों, देश को इस स्थिति से निकालना बहुत जरूरी था। इसलिए जब आपने हमें 2014 में अवसर दिया, तो हमने जनहित में, देशहित में जीएसटी को अपनी प्राथमिकता बनाया। पिछले 11 साल में देश में 25 करोड़ लोगों ने गरीबी को हराया है, गरीबी को परास्त किया है और गरीबी से बाहर निकल करके 25 करोड़ का एक बहुत बड़ा समूह न्यू मिडिल क्लास के रूप में आज देश के अंदर बहुत बड़ी भूमिका अदा कर रहा है। इस साल सरकार ने 12 लाख रुपए तक की इनकम को टैक्स फ्री करके एक उपहार दिया और स्वाभाविक है, जब 12 लाख रुपयों का इनकम टैक्स में राहत हो जाए तो मध्यम वर्ग के जीवन में तो कितना बड़ा बदलाव आता है, कितनी सरलता सुविधा हो जाती है। और अब गरीबों की भी बारी है, न्यू मिडिल क्लास की बारी है। अब गरीब को, न्यू मिडिल क्लास को एक तरह से डबल बोनांजा मिल रहा है। जीएसटी कम होने से अब देश के नागरिकों के लिए अपने सपने पूरे करना और आसान होगा। जैसे स्वदेशी के मंत्र से ताकत मिली, वैसे ही देश की समृद्धि को भी स्वदेशी के मंत्र से ही शक्ति मिलेगी। आज जाने अनजाने हमारी रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में बहुत सी विदेशी चीजें जुड़ गई है, हमें पता तक नहीं है। हमारे जेब में कंघी विदेशी है कि देसी, हमें पता ही नहीं है। हमें इनसे भी मुक्ति पानी होगी। हम वो सामान खरीदें जो मेड इन इंडिया हो, जिसमें हमारे देश के नौजवानों की मेहनत लगी हो। हमें हर घर को स्वदेशी का प्रतीक बनाना है, हर दुकान को स्वदेशी से सजाना है। गर्व से कहो ये स्वदेशी है, गर्व से कहो मैं स्वदेशी खरीदता हूं, मैं स्वदेशी सामान की बिक्री भी करता हूं। ये हर भारतीय का मिजाज बनना चाहिए।
All right, let me go across to my colleagues Nilesh and Tejshri who are joining us at the moment. Tejshri, to you first. You know, this has been a crucial address by the Prime Minister. It was addressed to the people of the country to make sure that they know what's going to happen tomorrow, to simplify for them what is going to be happening tomorrow, that of GST 2.0 kicking in. What are the kind of reactions that you're getting in around you?
Well, absolutely. Currently, I'm reporting from the heart of the national capital, that is Connaught Place, and here we can sense a feeling of positivity as far as the GST reforms are concerned, cutting the slabs from 4 to 2. Let us speak to one of the shopkeeper owner at the Connaught Place over here, so as to what he has to say. वैभव जी, क्या लग रहा है आपको जिस तरह से जीएसटी आया है, रिफॉर्म्स हुए हैं जीएसटी के, प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा है कि कल से बड़ा तोहफा मिलेगा, इसे कैसे देखते हैं आप?
ये दिवाली गिफ्ट है बेसिकली हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी की तरफ से। 4 स्लैब से अब 2 स्लैब हो गए हैं। ऑब्वियसली व्यापारी वर्ग को अब फायदा ही फायदा होगा। आपकी
मोबाइल की शॉप है, कई और जगह भी आपके अलग अलग शॉप्स हैं, इसको लेकर आपका क्या कहना है कि फायदा व्यापारी वर्ग को भी होने वाला है और जनता को भी होगा?
दोनों को होगा। व्यापारी वर्ग को काम बढ़ेगा और जनता के लिए डिस्काउंट होगा।
ये कहा जा रहा है कि फैसला थोड़ा लेट लिया गया, आपको लगता है पहले लिया जाना था? थोड़ा
जो हुआ सही हुआ, जिस टाइम पे हुआ अच्छा हुआ। हालांकि तोहफा ही कह लीजिए इस बारी दिवाली का, और डिस्काउंटेड प्रोडक्ट्स मिलेंगे इस वक्त।
अच्छा डिस्काउंट मिलने वाला है,
अच्छा डिस्काउंट मिलने वाला है।
मेक इन इंडिया और आत्मनिर्भर भारत, इस पर भी प्रधानमंत्री ने काफी फोकस किया है, इसे लेकर आपको क्या लगता है? क्योंकि कई सारे प्रोडक्ट्स जो आप मंगवाते हैं वो बाहर से आते होंगे, लेकिन अब आत्मनिर्भर भारत पर फोकस है।
हम खुद भी फोकस कर रहे हैं मेक इन इंडिया के प्रोडक्ट ज्यादा रखने के लिए, और होपफुली बाय अगले साल तक शायद ये पूरा का पूरा मेक इन इंडिया ही मिलेगा आपको सामान।
आप कह रहे हैं 100% मेक इन इंडिया पे आप शिफ्ट हो जाए?
जी जी जरूर।
इससे कितना फायदा होगा?
उससे मैम बहुत ज्यादा फायदा होगा, सरकार को भी फायदा होगा, सरकार को टैक्स मिलेगा, हम लोगों के यहाँ व्यापार बढ़ेगा, व्यापार के साथ साथ रोजगार भी मिलेगा।
Alright, so that's the reaction that we are picking up from the heart of the national capital, where the shopkeepers say that yes, it is definitely beneficial, not just that but also the self-reliance message of Prime Minister, the Aatmanirbhar concept of Aatmanirbhar Bharat that people are following, and they say that within an year all the things that they, even a small bit of thing that they bring from the foreign countries, that will be now Make in Bharat, Aatmanirbhar Bharat.
So it's good to see a positive sentiment among shopkeepers, among traders, among sellers, and you know, they are the people who the Prime Minister was referring to manufacture more in India. Let me also go across to Nilesh. Nilesh, you've got some people joining you. They also have some reactions coming in on the Prime Minister's address. Go ahead.
Well, yes, this was the second conference that PM Modi held along with the citizens, and the Aatmanirbhar Bharat concept and citizen first concept was the key highlight of this entire briefing. Currently, I am being joined with the young brains, the young blood of this nation, and we'll try to understand what exactly is the sentiment of the financial capital. What is your take onto the recent GST reform that has been brought? Do you think it is a game changer?
Actually, it is a game changer, and frankly speaking, we are very much glad that this steps has been taken off. And as a middle class man, we kindly appreciate the two major sector which is related to middle class mostly. First is medical, since you know medical price is actually very much on the higher side. So as a middle class, it was very difficult to buy a medicine for a normal thing. secondly, it is the insurance part. Everyone wants to get insurance. People are getting awareness of that. But since there was lots of GST charges on that, currently it is nil as far as I know. This will definitely boost the insurance terms. And what I feel like these steps should have been taken before. But since it is a Diwali gift from our PM Modi, we really glad that we have received this gift. And we hope that this should be continue for a long time.
Okay, so are you happy with the gift that is being given by the PM?
Exactly, because this is something, it's a positive side for Indian government and our country, because the products that are made in India, so it could be beneficial for the laborers who are working in India. So of course it's a positive side for us.
What is your take being a youngster?
First of all, I want to say, Modi ji, thank you so much for young generation, whatever you are doing it. So, and second thing, like GST, whatever you are doing it, it's beneficial for the young stars now who are coming out. So thank you for that.
You think entrepreneurs will be boosted with these reforms?
Yeah, of course, why not?
As a youngster, as a student, what is your take? What is your takeaway from these reforms?
So as a youngster and जैसे जैसे studies advance होती है और requirements भी वैसे होती required रहती है studies के लिए, and our stationery is the more core part of it. So I feel that is going to be very beneficial for us to acquire the stationery for our studies.
PM Modi in his address mentioned how the citizens are Devo Bhava for him, are like godly to him. Do you think the government has been constantly taking decision in that step?
Actually, the government is taking decisions. Since I told you we were expecting this should have been done before, but whatever, even we are getting this time, it is a very good time to take this step, since we already know what the global things are going on. And to the topic your entrepreneur, I think this will definitely boost India entrepreneurship, because people will get to know, okay, that there are very less taxes. And secondly, what I would like to address, that previously it was multiple GST, like we were not aware on which product what taxes will be there. At current there are only two, right? So this is given a very clear-cut idea to our citizenship. That okay, you are having this product, there will be a minimum charge of 5%. You are having multiple products, and it will be 18%.
The GST has gone much simpler. So that is the takeaway that we are getting from the financial capital. People here, especially the youngsters, are welcoming the reform that has been given by the government, and are stating that they are thankful to the Prime Minister that at least the government is thinking, has taken a positive step in the right direction.
All right, Nilesh and Tejshri, thanks very much for getting us those reactions. The public sentiment, viewers, is clearly positive. Let me also go across to my guests on the show, Mr. R. Rajagopalan, senior journalist, joining us, as well as Dr. P.K. Basu, economist. Good evening, namaskar to you both, gentlemen. Dr. Basu, can I begin by asking you what your takeaway was? It's going to be the big reform, GST 2.0, that's kicking in tomorrow. Ahead of that, the Prime Minister using some keywords, stressing on the fact that neo-middle class is something that is important. MSMEs were reached out to, and state-center collaboration was something that was also, stressed upon. As an economist, what do you think is going to be the impact of GST 2.0?
Well, it's going to be a very substantial impact. First of all, the reduction in the number of slabs is a very positive development. It makes compliance easier. It makes evasion more difficult. So that is a big positive. Second, the rates of tax have declined pretty much for everything, except for a few so-called luxury items. All other rates have come down sharply. And the effective weighted average reduction is from about 11.5% to slightly below 9.5%. So a 2 percentage point reduction in the average rate of GST charged on all products. Now, just if you look at the current CPI inflation rate, it is just above 2% in August. And there's now a 2 percentage point reduction in all goods and services prices, which basically is going to mean that in October, inflation should be pretty close to zero. That will basically provide additional room for the RBI to cut interest rates substantially further. Already, we have an income tax cut this year, which is resulting in larger refunds now that people have filed their taxes. So people are going to get larger refunds. that will be putting money into their pockets. Second, there will be a substantial reduction in all prices of goods and services. That gives an incentive to consume more. And third, there's likely to be further interest rate cuts. Remember, we've already had 100 basis points of repo rate cuts in the current fiscal year. In addition, there's going to be 100 basis points of CRR cuts. You know, September, October, November, December, each month, the CRR, the cash reserve requirement for banks, will come down by 25 basis points each. So, in addition to that, inflation is going to be negligible. With inflation way below 2%, the RBI will be obliged to cut the repo rate further. So I think there'll be a triple whammy of benefits to the Indian consumer and the Indian economy. My estimate for real GDP growth this year is 9%. Not nominal, real GDP growth is 9%. Last year was a relatively weak year, 6.5%. If you look at the average growth rate of the Indian economy in real terms, over the last 4 years, the average growth rate has been 8.2%. When you have a weak year, the following year, you get a better performance. Now, we've had one of the strongest monsoons in a long time this year. Especially across North India, the monsoon was very strong. So that is a fourth factor that is going to provide a big boost to farm incomes, and farmers will be consuming more. So rural consumption will pick up, urban consumption will pick up, and we are going to get a very, very strong economy this year. And that strong economy should actually, in the second half of the year, also mean that revenue to the government will pick up. I think that this year, the fiscal deficit is going to be higher than the original estimate, because this is a conscious fiscal stimulus to counter the increases in tariff rates that we are paying to our largest market in the US. But the benefit, I mean, we've now got 4 factors coming in that are going to provide a huge boost to the economy. And I think real GDP is going to grow 9%. You heard it here first. 9% GDP.
Okay. When it does, we'll talk about that as well. And hopefully you and I will be on air talking about this. Let me also quickly get in a breaking news that's coming in as far as the politics over Prime Minister's address is concerned, viewers. The Congress has now responded to the Prime Minister's speech in a post on social media platform X. Congress leader Jairam Ramesh has said this, and I quote, "The trade deficit with China has doubled in the last 5 years to cross $100 billion, and Indian business is crippled by fear and oligopolization that is leading many to resettle abroad." He also says the GST reform has been delayed by 8 years and is still inadequate as the government is yet to fix sectoral issues and MSME woes. Mr. Rajagopalan, the opposition is now, of course, reacting to what the Prime Minister has said, pointing out to how they think that this is delayed by 8 years. This should have done much earlier. And now that it is being done, it is inadequate because it doesn't talk about the sectoral issues that, you know, sectors like textiles and others are facing, as well as the MSME woes.
Here, Dr. Basu has very, very, very incredibly appreciated and also projected India's GDP will be 9%. That's a welcome sign. And I would also like to congratulate your team members for going to the public to get the reactions. With this too, I would like to say Mr. Jairam Ramesh's reaction is not at all, a welcome one, because they are interested in vote chori. Whatever Dr. Basu painted a picture about economy, I'm going to give you a political narrative to this, because same Congress party which objected and said gabbar tax, same Rahul Gandhi. And second thing, my reaction would be Dr. Basu should explain further, because Mr. P. Chidambaram during UPA regime put petrol bond for 10 years. My children, my grandchildren will be suffering from that. Whereas Mr. Narendra Modi lifted 25 crore people out of poverty. That is called 1/5 of Indian. He is a rich person today. That is why he says, Prime Minister says, Drone Didi, and moreover, Lakhpati Didi, that beneficiaries of that Prime Minister's social welfare program, in addition to GST and 12 lakh concession in income tax. During the debate also, I would like to say that Mr. Modi, having done extremely well for the GST concern, during the discussion, Prime Minister was not allowed to speak in Parliament. Why should BJP and other political parties make use of this social media and also Prime Minister's Man Ki Baat tape? Why should Congress block the Parliament? One vote chori. Why can't they decide this type of interesting thing? MSME sector, one neo middle class is a boost for the consumption. If Mr. Shashi Tharoor and even eminent economists should be allowed to make Parliament the function. Therefore, Congress has failed. Congress is a dead organization. According to Pranab Mukherjee, he told me that Congress is dead in 2012.
In fact, Mr. Rajagopalan, I'm also getting in another reaction from the Congress party. This one's coming from Manoj Kumar, the Congress MP. He has linked the GST reform with the upcoming Bihar elections. In fact, not just that, he's also gone on to reiterate Congress's concerns about Trump imposing tariff on India as well as the H-1B visa. Listen in to that reaction.
7 से 8 साल आपने उन गरीबों को, उन बैकवर्डों को, मध्यम वर्गीयों को, जो सूक्ष्म उद्योग खोले थे, जो लघु उद्योग खोले थे, सभी को आपने तो मार दिया। हम बिहार से आते हैं, हमारा किसान आज भी, अगर आप जाइएगा, मखाना पूरा दुनिया में फेमस है, उसके ऊपर आज भी आप 5% वो रखे हैं। क्यों रखे हैं? आपका अपना खाकड़ा का वो जो है गुजरात वाला, उस पर तो जीरो कर दिए, चूंकि आप गुजरात से आते हैं। क्योंकि बिहार का चुनाव नजदीक है, अगर जीएसटी माफ नहीं होता तो आपको मालूम होना चाहिए कि बिहार में लोगों को मुक्की खानी पड़ती और बिहार से इनका विदाई होता।
So of course the opposition linking it to the Bihar election, but Dr. Basu, we know that this was coming a long time. This is not something that the government has thought about right now because a certain state assembly election is coming. But I want to talk about, the neo middle class, something that the Prime Minister emphasized upon repeatedly in his address, extremely crucial when we see the fact that Indian economy has been expanding, the fact that we have been able to stand strong amid the external headwinds, and now we've got a neo middle class which has its own aspirations, and such kind of reforms are needed to make sure that their aspirations are fulfilled.
Well, I think I just want to address the political comments a little bit because, I think the Congress claims that the GST is something that they have introduced, which is a little bit rich because, I used to wait every year to see evidence that we were moving towards a single excise duty rate or reducing the slabs of excise duty rates so that we could transition to a GST with a single rate. Unfortunately, during the 10 years that the UPA was in power, they did nothing to simplify the excise duty regime. So if you don't simplify the excise duty regime, you're not going to have a simplified GST rate. So when the GST rate was eventually introduced in 2017, unfortunately, there were rates. But the reason why we did is because we were transitioning from the excise duty regime to the GST regime. And nothing had been done, either by the previous NDA regime or by the UPA regime, to simplify the excise duty regime. So now the point is that now the reduction in rates and the reduction in slabs is a hugely positive development. I mean, there is no doubt from a macroeconomic standpoint, this is very positive. The other aspect is that all rates have been reduced. The effective rate has been reduced substantially. And that is going to be a huge benefit to the middle class. It will be a benefit to the poor. The interesting thing about GST is that it applies to all goods and services, including items that the poor buys. So everybody will benefit from this reduction. And there will be a substantial reduction in the prices that people pay at the store. So
that's right, and that is
all of
why
this,
perhaps the positive sentiment, and because people are understanding the fact that there will be cheaper rates that will be coming in, and at the end of the day, that's what matters. That roti kapda makan is something that the middle class, the new middle class, all of us are concerned about, and we want that cheaper, and that is becoming cheaper. I have paucity of time. I'll leave it here. Mr. Rajagopalan as well as Dr. Basu, to you. Thank you very much to both of you gentlemen for joining us on Times Now and sharing your perspective. Viewers, with that, it's time for a short break. News and updates continue on the other side.
Wow, new TVS Jupiter?
समझदार के लिए इशारा